Hey, what is going on, guys? It's DK. Back at you with another video here to bring in the 6-game NBA main slate on Sunday. Before I get into the video, if you guys are new to the channel, my name's DK. I make daily videos and live stream for NBA and NFL slates on Draftkings, and I'm now making videos for NBA Top Shot as well. If you're unable to watch these YouTube videos, I do upload an Apple Podcast with a link down below. It's called the DKDFS Show. If you guys are interested in signing up for premium content, I offer that on Patreon.com, an esports package as well as an NBA package. And then I want to thank Underdog Fantasy for sponsoring this show. If it's your first time watching these videos or you're unfamiliar with Underdog Fantasy, what they offer is they have daily fantasy snake drafts as well as season-long best ball. So if you guys are big into best ball, Underdog is for you. After you sign up and make your first deposit, you can use the code DKDFS. DKDFS, all one word. You will get a money-back guarantee up to $100. And finally, I just want to thank you guys for the continued support. It is really greatly appreciated on these DFS videos, the Top Shot videos, the live streams. Thank you guys so much. If you do enjoy this content, please leave a like button on the video. Subscribe to the channel if you haven't already, and hit the notification bell so you don't upload videos live. As always, I will be doing a YouTube live stream before locked over everything, answer all your guys' questions, and let's aim for 150 likes on this video, guys. But with that out of the way, let's jump into it. So before we talk about players and the prices for the 6-game slate, let's look back lineup here from Saturday. So Saturday looking pretty good for me right now. Here I can get out of the way so you guys can see the full scores. But yeah, I played a little bit lighter. So what I did is I went a little bit risky. I was going back and forth with the Sacramento-Atlanta stack or the Westbrook-Giannis pairing. And I was like, you know what, I'm going to go Sacramento-Atlanta. Both were, the Giannis-Westbrook pairing was probably a little bit better. But still, the Sacramento-Atlanta stack still did really well. So De'Aaron Fox, 51 fantasy points, really solid. Bogdan did not shoot well. Could have done a little bit better. But I was willing to take the risk there at his price of 3.8K. Capella, only 25% owned. I was a little bit surprised about that. Now, he did play under 30 minutes, and he crushed in that time. But, again, Sacramento is so bad defensively, and I thought Capella was going to be higher owned, so that did surprise me a little bit. Trae Young was fine, 45 fantasy points. Expected a little bit more there, but still not terrible. And then Rashawn Holmes is really good there for 38 fantasy points. Other parts of my lineup, I used DeAndre Bembry for value. He finished with a nice 27 fantasy points. If you target Toronto, like the main guys, you got a little bit unlucky. Kyle Lowry is on pace for a massive game, and that game blew out. Norman Powell, again, blowout. Boucher, blowout. So it's like those main three guys, if you target any of those guys, you did get a little bit unlucky. I used Bobby Portis. Now, in this lineup, I was kind of hoping for the blowout, but Bobby Portis still got there because the game, in a close game, he got 29 fantasy points. I just thought that price at 4.1K was too cheap for him, so I was willing to take the risk there. And then I used Will Barton. Now, honestly, I get a little bit luckier. I was kind of hoping for Jokic to be out, and I was, hey, Will Barton will obviously get a huge boost if Jokic is out. So I was playing for that. Jokic ended up getting ruled in. I didn't really have any other pivots there, so I just stuck with Barton, and he's playing really well. So that's one I did get a little bit lucky there. 28 fancy points just starting the second half for Will Barton. But yeah, that's really it for the look back, guys. It's going to be a really solid night for me. We'll see. I don't think I can get up to like first in this tournament, but I think the top 5 probably is where I'll be looking because not a lot of people have like anyone remaining in this tournament. So yeah, that's it for the look back, guys. Hope you guys had a great night, and let's see if we can keep it rolling for this 6-game slate. So there's a couple early games. Those are not included in the main slate. We have 4 of the 6 games out right now as far as the over-under. So Boston and Houston, a 224 over-under. The Celtics are currently 10.5 point favorites. Blazers, Timberwolves, a 234 over-under. The Timberwolves, or the Blazers, I should say, are 5-point favorites. Clippers, Pelicans, a 236 over-under. The Clippers are 5.5-point favorites. And Raptors, Bulls, a 231.5 over-under. The Bulls are currently 3.5-point favorites. All right, so we'll start off with Miami and Orlando. Once again, Bam Adebayo is out, so Jimmy Butler is one of the better spin-ups in the slate for sure. Doesn't matter the matchup. He's just continuing to get at 50-plus fantasy points every single slate. Again, he's been super, super aggressive on the offensive end. Orlando, I'm not really scared of them defensively, so I do like Jimmy Butler at the top, and I do like Kelly Olynyk, even at 6.1K. I think that still is a little bit underpriced. He's going to play the center position, should play about 35 minutes, gets a huge boost playing the center spot. Just 2 games ago, we went for 38 fantasy points against Orlando. So I do think Kelly Olynyk is a pretty good play there in the mid-range. Dragic had a big game last game, but I don't know if I want to chase that. Seems priced about right. Same thing with Nunn and Hero. Other than that, there's not a ton I love. Chris Silva's at the min price. He actually has been playing more of the backup 5, but I still don't think we have to go there. Moving on to Orlando. So, oh man, this team has just been terrible. I know they have a lot of injuries, but Vucevic at the top. If you think the Magic can keep it close, I think he's a good spend up. They scored 77 real life points last game, and Vucevic still had 40 fantasy points in that blowout. So he's like their only hope to keep this game close. So if you think this game can stay competitive, I think Vooch is a good play at the top because he should be able to have his way against like Kelly Olynyk, Chris Silva, Precious, whoever they throw on him. Now, Orlando is still pretty thin again. No Aaron Gordon, no Fournier, no Cole Anthony, no James Ennis. Terrence Ross is currently questionable. If Terrence Ross is out, then they're going to be really, really thin. Michael Carter-Williams at 5.9K. In a close game, he'll play about 30 minutes. I think it's a fair play. Scrolling down a bit more, Dwayne Bacon for value. I don't like playing this guy, but hey, he's probably going to play about 30 minutes. He's going to get a good amount of shot attempts up. So viable. Al-Farouq Aminu at 3.9K. Again, like all these Magic guys seems to be just playing like 20 to 25 minutes. Not a super high usage guy. He's viable. Chumo Kiki actually started last game. He played 27 minutes, but again, not a high usage guy. I'm not playing Gary Clark. Chason Randall played 37 minutes. 12 fantasy points in 37 minutes. How on earth is that possible? I was looking at that. I'm like, all right. 3.4K. If there's no Terrence Ross, I think he's in play for value. But again, super low usage guy. And then Kem Birch played 24 minutes, 8 fades. Literally, like, no one did anything besides Vucevic last game. I don't think they're going to be that bad again. But it's like, are you going to feel confident really with any player besides Vuce in Orlando? Not really. No. Cleveland, Atlanta. On the Cleveland side, Jarrett Allen at 8.2. Honestly, just still feels a little bit pricey. Like, he's going to play 30-plus minutes, but I don't really want to pay that price for him. Sexton, again, no thank you. He's just too scoring dependent for my liking. He'll play 35-plus minutes. He's going to play big minutes, but it's just more of a secondary option. Darius Garland is currently a probable, so he should be back. That's a slight hit to Sexton. No thank you on Love. No thank you on Nance. No thank you on basically anyone else for Cleveland. Moving on to Atlanta. So on the Atlanta side, Trae Young at 9.3K. Do like that price. It came down from what? It was 9.8, I think, tonight, down to 9.3. Cleveland is not the best defensively, so I do think he's a pretty solid play at the top. I do like Capella as well. Now, he's not playing huge minutes, right? He only played 27 minutes. I'm guessing we get somewhere around 27 to 30, maybe a little bit more. Again, I'm not really scared of Jarrett Allen defensively, so I do like Capella, even though he's not playing huge minutes. John Collins, no thank you. Gallinari, no thank you. Herder, no thank you. Bogdanovich, now priced up to 4.3, should play about 20 minutes, but he's been really struggling shooting the ball. Where do they have? 0 of 6 and 2 of 12. That's not good. That is not good. 2 of 18 shooting last couple games. All right, let's move on to Boston and Houston. So, Boston, I do like the matchup here. What we got to consider, though, is the blowout risk, right? 10.5 point spread. Houston, very thin. They are not a great team right now, so that is a risk. The top 3 guys for Boston with Tatum, Brown, Kemba, I think all look pretty decent. Again, Houston, they're not great defensively, so all 3 of these guys are viable, but there's risk with all 3 just because of the blowout factor. Marcus Smart, I'm going to wait until he plays some more minutes. Robert Williams is at 5K. Yes, he's been good in like 15 to 22 minutes, but it's like, I don't know if I can stomach paying 5K for him, even though he's a good point per minute guy. And that's it for Boston. Moving on to Houston. So, the Houston Rockets, like I said, are very, very thin. If you think they can keep this game close, then Victor Oladipo is probably a guy you want to look to. He's going to be their clear number 1 on offense, him and Kevin Porter Jr. He's going to play probably around 35 minutes in a close game. Even with a bad matchup, I do like Oladipo at the top. Absolutely love Kevin Porter Jr., even at 5K. No John Wall. I'm assuming he starts at the point guard position. If he does, again, I just think this price is still too cheap. he's going to be, him and Oladipo will be the 1 and 2 in the offense. So I really like Kevin Porter Jr. Prefer the price on him to Oladipo, but still like Oladipo at the top. Again, Jay Sean Tate, too pricey for me. Patton at 5'4", and it seems a little bit pricey, maybe, or priced about right. Scrolling down a bit more, Sterling Brown at 4.9K. Again, with Oladipo back, he should lose some minutes. I don't really love that. David Nwaba's at 4 or 5. He did play the last game, did only play 18 minutes. I guess it's like a fine option. KJ Martin's at 4.5K. He did get a big price increase. I'm expecting around 25 to 30 minutes from him, which I still think is a pretty fair price. So I still have some interest in him. Ben McLemore at 4K. And with Oladipo back, he probably loses some minutes, so a riskier value play. No thank you on Lamb. And Mason Jones at the min price did only play 10 minutes, so not super interested there. So really, on the Houston side, it's Oladipo at the top. It's Kevin Porter Jr. in the mid-range, and then probably a guy like KJ Martin for value. Portland, Minnesota. So Damian Lillard at the top at 10.3K. Do like the matchup. Kind of had a subpar game today. But, yeah, I do, again, like the upside here. Minnesota does not play a lot of defense, so I do like Dame at the top. I really like Enes Kanter, too, at 6.9K. Played 32 minutes tonight. I'm expecting around the same, 32 to 35-ish minutes. Like I said, this is a bigger team, so and Karl-Anthony Towns is not a good defender. So I do like Lillard. I do like Kanter. The rest of the wings, I just don't know if I can do it. Like, I liked Covington tonight, and he just didn't do much. I just have a hard time trusting any of the Portland wings. Moving on to Minnesota. So you have Karl-Anthony Towns at 9.1K. That's even a price where it's like, all right, this seems a little bit too cheap for Karl-Anthony Towns. Like I said, Kanter, not a good defender. You can definitely run both centers. Mentioned that in my video earlier yesterday as well. So, yeah, I do like Cat at the top. Anthony Edwards at 7K, I think is a fine tournament play. He's going to get a ton of shots up. Should play around mid-30s minutes, so do like him for GPPs. Ricky Rubio at 5.7K did play over 30 minutes tonight. If he's going to continue to play over 30 minutes, then I think he's actually a decent play here in the mid-range. Noel also played over or close to 30 minutes off the bench. I think is viable, but I don't love the 5.1K price. A couple guys that are interesting here. I do want to mention Juancho Hernan-Gomez came off the bench and played over 20 minutes tonight. If we're going to continue to get around 20 minutes from Hernan-Gomez at the flat min, I do have some interest in him. Now, will we get that again? Not necessarily. There's always a risk, but I do have some interest there in Hernan-Gomez, again, at the flat min price, if he's going to continue to be a decent part of this rotation. So that's what I think for Minnesota. Let's move on to the Clippers and the Pelicans. At the top, we have Kawhi Leonard and Paul George. I think both look pretty solid here. Kawhi Leonard at 9K. Paul George at 8.1K. Again, the Pelicans have been playing faster recently. These guys should play 35-plus minutes. I like them both here. I think they're both a little bit underpriced. The rest of the Clippers, honestly, I want to see what they do with no Pat Beverly. Like, do they start Reggie Jackson? They could move, I guess they could move Terrence Mann in the starting lineup too. So we'll see. If Reggie Jackson starts the point guard position, I do have some interest in him because, he's actually a pretty good offensive player. So we'll have to keep an eye on that one. Maybe they start Terrence Mann. Either way, I think both those guards are in play, but probably would prefer whoever ends up starting. All right. Let's talk about the Pelicans. So, not necessarily the best matchup, but Zion Williamson, prices come down due to back-to-back blowouts here, but he should play 35-plus minutes in a close game. So I do like Zion here. Definitely think you can run like a Zion Paul George stack or a Zion Kawhi Leonard stack. Ingram, Lonzo, more secondary plays. Steven Adams at 5.3K. Probably get around mid-20s minutes. I think is a decent play because he's, again, a solid point-per-minute guy. But that's it for the Pelicans. Let's finish up with Toronto and Chicago. So Toronto, like I said, if you targeted like the main guys, you got a bit unlucky. Lowry didn't play the fourth. Powell didn't play the fourth. Boucher didn't get his full complement of minutes. I really like the matchup here, and it looks like all those guys are out once again for Toronto. So love Lowry at the top. Again, I do like Powell. The one concern here with Powell is he had a subpar shooting game tonight, and he only went for 25 handspots. Now, sure, right, he lost minutes, but still, that is just the concern with Norman Powell is if he's not shooting the ball well, he still has a somewhat low floor. And then Chris Boucher, he went back to the locker room, but I think it was just stitches on his lip, so I think he'll be fine. I'm expecting around 30 minutes from him. I think he's a good tournament play. Aaron Baines at 4.7K did only play 12 minutes after playing 24, 29, and 30 the previous game. So, it's not great to see. I'm curious to see what they do with the starting lineup. Do they continue to start Baines? Chicago, I mean, I guess they're a bigger team. Wendell Carter Jr. and Lauri Markkanen. So, yeah, it's not a great sign they only played 12 minutes. So, again, I want to see what they do with the starting lineup. They started Bembry and Stanley Johnson again. Bembry at 4-4, played 25 minutes. I'm expecting somewhere around 25 to 30-ish minutes from him if he starts again, which makes him a fair value. Stanley Johnson's at 4-3. Again, not a super high usage guy. Did only play 14 minutes. The issue with Toronto is, like, there's just no guarantee in those minutes for guys that start. Like Terrence Davis at 4K only played 13 minutes. Toronto still has a decent amount of bodies. Like Paul Watson got in this rotation. I don't really think I want to play Paul Watson. Matt Thomas got minutes. I think Yuta Watanabe got some runs. So it's like, they still have guys you can use. Now, Henry Ellenson did play as well, played 18 minutes. Played a lot of that in garbage time, though, too. He's a good point per minute guy, a good offensive player. I think it's just a high-risk, high-reward play. Like I said, he wasn't playing a ton of minutes in regular time, played most of that in garbage time. So it's a pretty risky play if you go there. Let's finish up with Chicago. So Chicago, Zach LaVine came down a little bit to 9.2K. Should play 35-plus minutes. It's a clear number one in the offense. They are pretty healthy, though. So I think he's just kind of like a fair option. Doesn't seem too expensive. Doesn't seem too cheap. Kobe White at 6.4K should play over 30 minutes. But again, the price seems about right. No thank you on Markkanen. No thank you on Thad Young. Just don't have a ton of interest in anyone else here for Chicago. So that's going to do it for the team-by-team breakdown, guys. And I think that's going to do it for the video as well. So if you have been enjoying the content so far, I would really appreciate it if you leave a like button on the video, subscribe to the channel if you haven't already, and hit the notification bell so you know when I upload videos, you know when I go live. Thanks again, guys. Have a great night, and I'll see you all tomorrow in the live stream.